Hi guys, how is everyone doing? So I'll let everyone join. If anyone has any questions throughout, as usual, just whack them in the chat, and I'll get through them. But hope everyone's had a great weekend. Like I say, these live streams are going to happen every Monday, 5 p.m. unless something crops up, and they'll just get moved to a Wednesday. But they all get recorded, so you can see the last two on the YouTube channel. But as people join in, and put any questions you have related to what I'm about to talk about. But as you saw from the topic of the live stream, I wanted to talk about how we're currently booking 3 meetings a day through each of our salespeople. So that's each salesperson. How we're getting an extremely high show rate and extremely high closing rate, because I think it's super useful for you guys to know. So booking meetings, guys. Booking meetings for your social media marketing agency is the first step to really getting your agency off the ground. It all funnels down. If you're not booking meetings at scale with, high ticket business owners, it's going to be really tough for you to get your agency off the ground. Also, keep your agency consistently at a set revenue mark. Like last week, we had so many different people so many different people asking, how do you keep your agency at a set figure? Like once I get to 4 or 5K, how do I keep it there? And by booking loads of meetings consistently and keeping that pipeline full is how you're going to do it. Can everyone hear me okay? Can someone put in the chat just so let me know that they can hear me? Just because I don't want to be speaking. Last week I had my microphone turned off. Just someone whack anything in the chat, guys. Thumbs up, thumbs down, anything. Right, here we go. Right, I've got it all now. Cool. Sorry, the chat wasn't loading. Right, so I'm going to get on to all of those questions, guys. But before I do that, I want to carry on what I was talking about. So yeah, booking meetings consistently is the foundation of your social media marketing agency. It just is. If you can't have that consistent flow of meetings coming in, your agency is never going to grow, and you're not going to be able to stay consistent at a set revenue mark, because it all funnels down. Because you're also going to lose clients, continually. So how we do it is obviously by cold calling. If you're a long member or long viewer of this channel, you will know that I advocate for cold calling a lot. So I'm just going to put do not disturb so I'm getting more phone calls. I'm a massive advocate for cold calling. It's the quickest and easiest way to get in front of the business owner and really just talk to the decision maker straight away. And that's how we do it. We cold call. We make sure all of our sales team cold call at least 50 business owners a day, which book between 1 and 3 meetings every single day. But which is obviously great. And there's loads of different ways to do it. It's all taught in the academy. There's loads of different videos on YouTube of how to actually cold call effectively and get around the gatekeeper. Once you book them, there's a few tips of what you need to do at the end of the cold call. And it's all about how you preface the meeting. Obviously, the whole point of a cold call is to book a meeting. It's not to sell your services. So what you need to do on the cold call to make sure not only they show up, but they also understand what they're showing up for. That's the biggest part. We've had salespeople work for the agency who book more meetings than our current sales team. However, the people that were showing up to the meetings didn't really have an idea of what they were showing up to. If they think they're showing up for free advice, if they think they're showing up for, I don't know, to talk about their social media posting, how to post at the right times, and then you get on and talk about a really in-depth social media marketing strategy that costs thousands of dollars a month, they're not showing up for the right thing. So you need to make it abundantly clear to the people that you're booking meetings with what they're actually showing up for. Sorry. Yeah, which is all about how you sell the meeting. You don't want to just, and what lots of salespeople do, is they want to hit the number of meetings each week by booking the wrong types of meetings. So things you can do is ask them what they think they're showing up for at the end of the call. Ask them how likely they are to show up. Tell them things like, if they don't show up, and you've got to say this in the nicest way possible, if you don't show up, unfortunately, these meetings can't be rescheduled because of how in demand we actually are. Also, you then need to put them through a go high level sequence. And if you're in the academy, you can just copy and paste our agency Go High Level account, which just has all of the automations. You need a 24-hour and a 1-hour email notification and a text notification for them to reschedule or cancel. You need to call them ahead of time to make sure that they're still available. They've got the Zoom link and they know what they're showing up to. and then there's loads of other different strategies you can help increase the show rate. So with our agency, we book for every 50 cold calls, we probably book between, like I say, between 1 to 3 meetings per 50 cold calls. And then we have an 85% show up rate, which is incredibly good. Obviously, even we have people that don't show up just because they either said yes just to get you off the phone or whatever. So it's, yeah, really, guys, if you know how to cold call and you can follow the correct processes and you've got the Go High level infrastructure and you've got your scripts and your presentations, you're really going to close. You're really going to not only book loads of meetings, but also close loads of clients as well, because then they're primed up. And that's where most people go wrong. And this is where most people have a really low conversion rate in meetings, is because most of the meeting is actually getting them ready for what the meeting was about. Whereas if you prime the meeting and sell the meeting in the correct way to start with, you can just go straight into what you want to talk about. Obviously, how you structure that meeting is a conversation for a completely other way. And if anyone has any questions on that, I can go through it. Hopefully I've articulated that in the best way, guys. I'm kind of just not rambling, but just this has been a big part of my week, which is analyzing the sales team's performance. And I wanted to share with you guys what's good, what's bad, and really the kind of key points in that meeting booking process, which you need to keep an eye on to have a successful campaign. But I'm going to shoot into the questions. Henry says, do you have people in the academy that were absolutely clueless about SMMA, didn't know a thing, and are now smashing it? How long did it take them, and how much are they making now? Yeah, Henry, I think I said this on the last live call. Like, we've got people in the academy that joined when they were already making 15K a month, but we've also had people join who don't even have a Facebook account. Like, it takes you from a complete beginner all the way up to the most advanced strategies that we implement day in, day out. So we have a range of people, mate, to be honest. Like, we've got some people who didn't have a clue who are now making over 10 grand a month. And we've got people that have started at 15K and now at 35K. So it's like, there's a range of people. But then also to caveat that, because of how transparent I want to be with you guys, there's people that join, think it's a get rich quick scheme, and then don't make anything. And then they give up SMMA after a couple of weeks because the academy's made them realize what SMMA is actually about. So it's a double-edged sword. What's the average academy member making? That kind of answers your question, mate. Like, it's, I don't know the actual average. I really don't. I'd have to do a survey. I don't know. Hazy, if I stick to 30 to 50 calls a day, fully go over the course, and confident speaking to people, is there any way possible I can't get to 3 to 4K a month consistently? How long would it take me? No, it's absolutely not. And like I've just said there, mate, that first kind of 5-minute monologue kind of hopefully answered your question, which is 30 to 50 cold calls a day. A good cold caller is going to book 1 to 3 meetings. So a week, what's that, 15 meetings? And if you've got just a 10% conversion rate, so you close, let's just be conservative, one of those clients a week, after doing 250 cold calls, 15 meetings, you sign one client at $1,000 a month. You just need to do that for 4 weeks and you're going to get to 4K. Obviously, it's not going to be as regimented as that. It completely depends on if you're a good cold caller, you're good at presenting, and you're good at communicating, and you're good at following up. But that's if you're going off the average metrics, that's how long it would take. Connor, I study in Romania. I'm British. I just study here. It's 2 hours ahead. What would you recommend? Because the time zone is only 2 hours ahead of the UK. Is that a problem? No. We've got clients that are on the west coast of the US, which is 8 hours behind London. So you just have to work with your client on that time zone. In terms of cold calling, no, you can just buy a UK phone number on Go High Level and cold call the UK. You can even get a US number and cold call the US, depending on what time of day you want to cold call. You want to try and cold call businesses when it's between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. their time, because that's just from our experience when you're most likely to book a meeting with a client. Let me see. Also, I study law. I'm at university all day, get home around 6. I spend 2 hours every evening studying. Would spending around 2 hours in the evening be fine sustaining clients I already have? Yeah. Obviously, it's going to get to a point when you're going to need more than those 2 hours. Also, 50% of your time when it's just you has to be on sales, keeping the pipeline full, because just because you get to 4K a month doesn't mean you're going to stay at 4K a month. You are going to lose those clients. The average agency loses a client after 1 to 3 months anyway. So yeah, like, you are going to have to put some time into cold calling. So 2 hours, It might be enough. It depends on how demanding your clients are and how good you are. The quicker you can get those clients' results and almost autopilot it, the more time you're going to have and the less time you're going to have to spend on each client. But that just completely depends. Should I touch a little bit on the strategy on the cold call to make the prospect excited for the meeting? Yeah, you can do. We do this a lot. Like we try and on cold calls, and I don't do the cold calls anymore for my agency now, but I listen to every cold call not every cold call, every successful cold call that my sales team make. And what they're really good at is finding the pain point on the cold call. So, for example, a client on a cold call might say, "Oh, we've worked with an agency in the past. However, the leads that we were bringing in were really poor quality and they didn't come to anything." So what our sales team do is they pick up on that pain point and say, right, well, this part of our strategy is all about how we increase the quality of the leads. We nurture them as well as bring them in to help you convert them at high conversion rate. And then we dive into our go high level strategy of how that works. We obviously don't present it to them, but we just highlight that part of the strategy to hit their pain point. So you don't necessarily go through the whole thing unless they ask you. Like if sometimes they'll say, right, can you summarize what your service offering is? And you can do that. And the more you talk about it, the better you are at doing it. So yeah, like my answer to that question would be yes, if it's natural in the conversation to do so. I wouldn't just say, right, do you have a minute for me to run you through my strategy? Because that is what the call's for. And that's you kind of want to keep that for the call, because the whole way you're going to sell a meeting is, right, get on a call with me in a couple of days' time, and I'm going to run you through exactly how we get XYZ results. What's a reasonable cost per booked meeting on Facebook and Instagram? It's different for every single business that we work with. A good cost per lead will be on a local lead generation basis. We've had some, I don't want to give you the extremes. Like we've got some clients where we bring in a cost per lead of like $4, which is ridiculous. But on average, it's probably between $9 and $20, depending on the industry. And then it all depends from, sorry, I've read that question. Sorry, that's your first question. Yeah, cost per booked meeting on Facebook and Instagram ads. So yeah, that's cost per lead. And then the conversion rate of leads to bookings completely depends on the sales team. We have some clients that convert at 35%, some at 5%. So that's hopefully that answers your question. And then same guy. Should I touch a little bit on the? Oh no, yeah, I've just answered that question. Is there any software you use for creating the meeting? Tristan, yes. So what we do is we'll cold call them, and then when they want to book in, we've got a we book them in on the Go High Level calendar, which is connected to our Zoom. So that, and then we've got our workflows in the background of GHL, which sends them all of the reminders, our website information, testimonials, the Zoom link that automatically gets generated and sent to them with reminders. And then we also put that Zoom link into Google. So then it gets added to their calendar as well, which they have to accept. So then it's always sat in their calendar and they get an invite to their calendar. So we input the meeting in two places. So yeah, really simple. So Google, Zoom, and Go High Level. Matthew, have you ever worked with an acupuncture clinic, or are they too low ticket? I've not worked with an acupuncture clinic, but I've overseen many campaigns that do through the academy. And no, they're not too low ticket. The lifetime value of those customers for those clinics is actually really high. So when you get a good customer for them, they do spend a lot of money over time, which is super important, guys. Like that's what you've got to remember when you're selling when you're selling your services to brands, is work out the lifetime value of the customers you're bringing. Like if you're working for a restaurant, for example, just because if you sell a voucher or a coupon for, I don't know, 2 starters and a main for 25 pounds, the return on that client isn't 25 pounds, because they might come in every week of the year for the next 50 weeks. And that way that client's brought in thousands of dollars to that business. So it's the lifetime value of how much the customer you're bringing in for your marketing campaigns spends over the lifetime of them being a customer for that business. How much should I charge for my first couple of clients? Good question. Now, this is the answer to answer this question has changed over time, because when I first started teaching people SMMA on my Instagram, etc., and in the academy, it was a very different playing field. Because when I first started, or coming up to 5 years ago now, my first client paid me £1,500 a month, and it was a dentist. However, if a beginner goes after a dentist now and charges £1,500 a month, they're not going to be able to close them, because that's going to be charging the same as the other agencies that pitch them, that have testimonials, referrals. They've got a point of contact. They can put that client in for a kind of like a testimonial that happens over the phone. So you're just never going to win that business. So you do need to be more conservative with your price. Obviously, there are things like building your portfolio, building exemplars of your work that's going to allow you to charge more money. But really, and it also depends on the industry as well, mate. So there's so many different factors that goes into pricing, but I wouldn't charge any less than $800. I really wouldn't. Any less than that, it doesn't seem worth it to me, especially if you're like, you've gone through the academy or you've gone through training and you actually can get results. Like if you're just a pop-up agency, then I won't answer that question. So yeah. What are your thoughts on website builders, e.g. Squarespace? Yeah, Tristan, they do the job, mate. Obviously, you can pay professional website builders to do it in Adobe and stuff like that, where it's properly coded, which is going to cost a fortune. But for a local business, you can get a nice website made on Wix or Squarespace for, we do it for our clients sometimes. We charge a couple of £1,000, get it done, looks really nice, helps them dramatically, and they do the job. I spent the last month learning the entire service delivery, and I want to start cold calling soon. I understand the service quite well, but can't figure out where do I begin formulating the actual strategy. So it's going to be very difficult, mate, for you to just invent your own Facebook ad strategy. You do need to almost not copy someone's, but use someone else's blueprint, because it is super complex. Like if you don't know a good strategy, and everyone has different strategies. My strategy is going to be different to the next Facebook advertiser strategy, and there's loads of different strategies that work. And when we say a strategy, it's just, how are you going to go about from day one to getting the results? What's your process? Because the first ad you get up, the first piece of copy isn't going to miraculously bring them in loads of money. Like it just isn't. So yeah, you are going to have to adapt someone else's strategy, whether that's a mentor, whether it's through the academy, whether it's through someone's YouTube video, whatever it is. That's you're just going to have to do that. And then what's an alternative to Go High Level? Really what it was before Go High Level, which is you had to build a sales funnel on ClickFunnels. You had to do the automations using Zapier to click send for your SMS. You had to basically use loads of different services or loads of different softwares to get the same results you get on Go High Level, but Go High Level is just so much cheaper. Like rather than paying 97 for ClickFunnels for just the funnels, you're now paying 97 for Go High Level. And then with ClickFunnels, you had to pay 30 a month for Zapier, you had to pay 20 a month for ClickSend, 60 a month for MailChimp. Like that's why Go High Level is so good and why it's exploded, is because it's just saving so many different agencies so much money. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I've missed any other questions. Sorry, HC, you had another question. Basically, with a goal of 3 to 4K a month, is it fair to say that this would be more part-time in the evening as opposed to full-time in a day? It really depends on the client, to be honest, mate. Like if and it also depends how good you are. Like if you work with a client on day 1 and by day 7 you're getting them amazing results through your ads, then yeah, what you spend your time on is just going to be tweaking the ad to make sure those results are consistent. But if you're not very good at getting them results and you physically can't get them results, then you're going to be working like many hours to try and figure out how to get them results, which is why it's so important to have a solid strategy. Like it really is. Like you have to have a strategy that you know is going to work, so you don't have those stresses. If you're going to sign a client without knowing, how exactly you're going to get them results, then it's going to be more than part-time. You're going to be up to the early hours in the morning figuring out how the fuck you actually get them results. Najib, when we'll be posting to YouTube again, we try our best, to be brutally honest. Like we've got a few videos coming out next week. It's just finding the time because the agency is just so hectic at the minute. Do you need a website for your agency as a beginner? See, that's another question that my answers changed quite dramatically over the past couple of months. And I would say, yes, you do. However, the only thing clients are going to look at when they look at your website is your testimonials and the quality of your work. They're not going to look at, you don't need a website. If you've got a website that just says, I do Facebook ads, email marketing, sales funnel creation, that's great. But that's what every other website of a social media marketing agency looks like. Like, how are you going to make it? How are you going to make yourself really stand out? And the only way you can stand out in our industry is by having testimonials and case studies. That's not to say you have to have a client that's giving you a testimonial or a case study. There's loads of different ways. If you're a website builder, build 10 websites for your industry, put them on your website so people can go, oh shit, Harry can make websites. Or if you're offering sales funnel creation or paid ads, build on your website like a full case study of what a finished marketing campaign would look like. Build 7 ads for a dentist. Build a sales funnel for a dentist. Build some email marketing sequences for a dentist. Obviously blur some parts out so they're not just copy and pasting what you do, but at least then when a business owner comes onto your website, they have your website there and the 10 other websites that have also pitched them. At least you've got something to make yourself stand out. Like, that's so important. You've got to be able to stand out. You can't just say, I do X, Y, Z. And yes, what a lot of people are going to do is put the crazy guarantees up. But if a dental practice owner is looking at Tom and Mai's website with loads of case studies and testimonials, and then they see with no guarantee, and then they've got your website with a crazy guarantee with no testimonials or case studies, they're going to be like, well, that's strange, isn't it? Like, for someone with that big of a guarantee with no case studies and testimonials, it looks a bit strange, which is why I always say, guys, these guarantees don't work. Like, it's just going to make you look stupid, because why, like I said, why would you, if you've got that good guarantee and it's actually real, you would have loads of amazing case studies, but you don't, because you're a beginner and you're trying to compensate being a beginner with those guarantees, which is crazy. There is a word limit, so I'll write a question in multiple messages. So I'm working with an accounting firm, and I've come up with the following strategy blueprint. Yeah, hit me with it, mate. Yeah, I'll go through it with you. Trying to think if there's any other really important points, guys, that I want to go through. Is anyone really struggling? Like, is it like what's everyone's biggest pain point? Where's everyone at? Are you like the people that are currently watching, and the people that are watching this on repeat? This will also be really interesting to you, because there's going to be people that can relate. Who's started their agency, can't get a client, who's had at least one client in the past, who's up and running, who's got 5K monthly clients, 10K monthly clients. Like, what's everyone's position? Because I'm super interested to know kind of where most people who follow this channel are kind of at. I think I kind of know this. It's a very big, it's a mixture, but like 90% of people that do watch this, and this is the same with every YouTube that kind of talks about SMMA, is that they don't have a client yet, because it's fairly new. Tristan, I just want to say I enjoyed your video on how to set up an Instagram account. Thanks, Tom. Love that, Tristan. Tristan, how are you getting on, mate? I remember speaking to you at the event, but do you have an agency, don't you? I'm pretty sure you do. Right, Aaron, I'm going to get round to yours once you've sent all those messages in. After the cold calling, I booked a meeting with people, they don't show up, and I have difficulty doing the follow-up. I've been trying to sign a client for the last 5 months. Okay, so I don't know whether Gonzalo, I think that's how you say your name, mate. Apologies if I've pronounced that wrong, but this is kind of what I was speaking about at the beginning. You might not have been here for it. So we have an 85% show up rate on our meetings, which is way above average, especially for the social media marketing agency industry. And the way we do it is a number of things. And you've got to ask yourself, why would someone book a call with you and then not show up? And there's a number of reasons. One, they don't know what they're showing up to, which is usually the biggest problem. They have no idea why they're showing up. Or the second reason is they think that the only reason why you are showing up, the second one is they think the only reason what this meeting's there for is for them to get pitched. No one wants to take an hour out of their day to get pitched a service. They just don't. No matter how much in need of a pain point you potentially will solve them, they don't want to show up to just get pitched. So combat those two issues. Do they 100% know what they're showing up for? Do they think it's a social media strategy session? Do they think it's I don't know, a complete sales call? What do they think they're showing up to? And more often than not, if they're not showing up, they've got a completely different idea of where they're at than you. So that's step one. Step two is lead with value. So make sure that they're showing up to as almost a free consultancy session, but also they need to understand that you are going to pitch them your services. So it's a fine line that you need to walk. Also, what then, like the follow-up's a massive one, mate. Like if you're not following them up, and there's ways you can automate this, people will just forget about it. Like if you're just booking a meeting and they've not been sent a Zoom link, the link's not been added to their calendar by sending them a Google invite, you're not sending them a 24-hour notification, an hour notification via email and SMS, and you're not calling them beforehand to verify it's still on, they're just never going to show up because they are just going to forget. So when someone books a meeting with you, you need to put them through the Go High Level sequences that we do and all of our Academy members get access to, which is what I just said. They get the notifications, they get the Zoom link added to their calendar, they get all of that stuff, and that will help them show up. Hopefully that should answer your question, mate. Rondo 2 Raw. I started in May, but took a break in June because I'm away from home and don't have access to my PC and stuff. But before that, I've tried cold calling, but wasn't able to book any meetings. So this will just be your cold calling strategy, mate. Like you have to be different. Like you have to be able to stand out. You need to be energetic. You need to be enthusiastic, charismatic. Like if you get on a cold call and be like, "Hi, can I speak to the owner, please?" Not saying that's what you did, but that's what lots of people do. When people say they've not signed any meetings, we listen to their cold call, and it's the most unenergetic, unenthusiastic, like no charisma. Why would anyone want to spend an hour speaking to you when you just sound so dull? And it's as simple as that. Like you have to be excited to speak to these people and say the right things. Like it's a skill. And unless you've listened to loads of successful cold calls and gone through training of how to actually handle one, you are going to fail. That's not to say it doesn't work. It just means you've not put the time in, unfortunately, to really learn. Currently have 2 clients on a pay on results basis. I want to transition to getting paid up front. It's annoying as if the client doesn't close each lead, I don't get paid. Yeah, this is why we do the retainer business model. This is why the agency business model is so good. It's difficult though, mate. I understand why you're doing that as you're trying to get your agency off the ground. It's very difficult to get people to pay you an upfront retainer. I'd potentially try, mate, even if it's just like a couple $100 as a retainer, and then you make your money on the closed lead. That's a better method to do it. I wouldn't do it just completely performance basis, even if you're a beginner. And just say that the reason why I do that is because I have expenses. Like I've got softwares in order to get you results. And then at least that gets you at least a few hundred dollars, few £100 into your business a month from each client. Yes, the biggest issue is getting upfront. That will change. Your videos help me a lot. I've been sending landing page examples. I made for them content in the email that is useful, and I say in a cold call that I just want to have a conversation and change value with them. Yeah, it'll just be. I don't know how many cold calls have you done, Gonzalo? Like, are we talking 20 in total? Are we talking 100? Like, I'd love to. Even also, mate, I'm happy if you want to record some of your cold calls. Send me the Loom video on Instagram, and I can give you some feedback. Like, I'm happy to do it. What else we got? Tristan, when I met you at Aaron Branch's event, I was learning about the industry and just started my agency. Love it, mate. Super interesting. How can you find Instagram IDs of 7-figure business owners, and what should be the first line of cold email or DM? By the way, you're looking great, mate. Appreciate that, mate. Right, so cold email, cold DM. So there isn't a way that you can just type in on Google, right, 7-figure business owners. It just doesn't work like that. You can search the industry and the industries that are most likely to have 7-figure business owners in. That being said, finding the Instagrams of people that where the business owner actually is operating them is increasingly more difficult, and it's going to be in the follow-up. You're not going to be able to message someone and get an immediate response. You're going to have to be more creative. You can't just say, and I put this on my story the other day, Harry, are you in need of an appointment setter? Like it just gets deleted straight away. Like I don't even open it. So you have to be creative, and the follow-up is going to be so important. You're going to have to constantly follow up with them, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before they even open the message, but just because they get so many. And also be creative. Like we've been, I'm not a massive fan of Instagram DMs. However, we have in the past 8 weeks been experimenting a new Loom AI outreach strategy on Instagram, where essentially we customize the Loom using AI. So the Loom seems customized, and then sending it to people in our niche. And we booked probably not loads, probably 5 meetings a month from it, which is not like from the amount of money we've spent on implementing it, isn't the best return in comparison to cold calls where we book like 3 a day or 50 cold calls. it's ridiculous. And that's just, this is what I mean, guys, when I talk about how essential cold calling is in comparison to these other like outreach methods, sorry. Like cold call just cleans up, which is why when people are like too lazy to really learn cold calling and get over that barrier, you're just missing out on a completely different world of how your SMMA is going to be run. But yeah, like, and we signed a few clients in the past 8 weeks using this outreach strategy, but you've got to get really creative. You can't just send a shitty message. It's just not going to work. When I cold call, have less than a 50% pickup rate. How do I fix this? You can't fix that. That's the same for everyone. Like, either change your niche. Depends how you're cold calling them. If you're using Go High Level, there might be a problem with, if you're using a toll-free number, they're going to get less pickups than a local number. I'd really have to look at what you're doing, but so many people do get, so everyone gets that, mate. You can't, there's nothing you can do that can make people pick up. If people are putting their phone down on you, then that's a problem with your script. I will send you a quick loom. Thanks for the help. I know you're busy. No worries, mate. Just, yeah, send me the loom on Instagram. I've learned so much from you and Tom. You guys actually speak the truth, no BS. That's the whole point. Can't wait to join DCA, mate. It'd be lovely to have you in the academy. It'd be great. Yeah, that's the whole point of the channel, guys. It's just to finally, so hopefully, you can get on a video like this and actually just listen to someone who talks about SMMA in the real light. Like, I'm never going to come on here and talk about get rich quick, do this, this, and this, and you're going to be a millionaire overnight. Like, I'm never going to do that, because it's not the truth. Like, if you want to run a successful social media marketing agency, you seriously can get it to 10K a month. Like, that sounds crazy, but you genuinely can. But you've just got to work hard at it. It's not easy. Me and my mate in a business together, we booked a client and he joined the call. We couldn't stop laughing like bitches. How do we fix this, mate? That's just, I don't know, mate. Just, I don't know why you were laughing. Like, what was making you laugh? Like, I've never heard that before. Can I send you my cold call script on Instagram, and can you tell me what you think? Not really, mate. I don't like looking over scripts. I'd rather you send me something that you're actually doing on a cold call so I can listen to it, because the problem may not be the script. It may be with how you're delivering it. So no, I'd rather you send me a Loom video. Arian, right, your strategy messages. Let me go back. I was just waiting for you to send them all. Right, I've come up with the following strategy blueprint. Use an ebook or a doc as a lead magnet, lead them to a webinar, and finally close them. So that should be the time gap between these steps, nurturing them, and the pros and cons of the strategy. So this is a strategy for, I'm trying to see, was this a strategy for your accountant client? Arian, let me know. Was that your strategy for an accountancy client, or was that not you, or is that your strategy for any client that you get? Okay, so it's for accountants. Right, so a webinar funnel or an ebook is great to grow the email list. However, that's not going to close them consistently. You just need to run conversion ads for particular services. Running an ebook and a lead magnet is great to grow the email list and then nurture them over time, which you can do for a side strategy. But you need to have an out-and-out strategy of targeting people and getting them to submit their information for an actual set for the service that you're actually selling, using a sales funnel. Make a sales funnel for accountancy, for self-employed people, or whatever the service under that accountancy firm you're running it for, and just bring in leads. So people actually just directly inquiring for that service. Yes, you can have your lead magnet campaigns running on the side, but you can't just rely on that, because the quality of those leads is not going to be very good. Just because they've downloaded an ebook or a lead magnet doesn't mean they're going to be ready to buy. So yeah, that's not going to be good enough. So going back to this. So you couldn't stop laughing because you joined the call and said, "What made you join this call today?" And he replied saying, "What?" 5 times, and we started laughing. Any tips to hold the laughter? No, mate, just take it more seriously. Like, it's yeah, like, you're never going to sign a client if you're just laughing on calls. Like, it's not going to work. When would you think it's a good time to switch niches after focusing mainly on one? I would say if you've cold called consistently for a month. So let's say you did 50 cold calls a day for Monday to Friday, 4 weeks. If you've done about I'd say 500 cold calls. You can our sales team get between 500 to 750 cold calls a month. If you can do that on one niche and you still can't book meetings or you can't sign clients, then I'd give up. That being said, if you are doing it and you're signing loads of meetings, but you're not closing them, then it might not be an issue with the niche. It might just be an issue with how you're closing them. So it really depends. It's not as black and white as that. Also, another question, when I sign a client and he signs the contract says it lasts 30 days. So after the 30-day period, does he have to sign the contract again? Or does it repeat itself? I don't know, mate. This is whatever you write the contract, like you change it for whatever it is. Like you don't really need to. Yeah, this is like the contract could say anything, mate. If I'm being brutally honest, you need to write the contract of what you want. Like if you want it to be a 3-month contract, make it a 3-month and then rolling. Like, yeah, it's not like a one contract fits all. But wouldn't that be similar to what most pop-up agencies are doing? Hey, I run Facebook ads, book a call. No, mate, not at all. Because yes, if you're looking at it from a macro perspective of ads to this, but you're not going to be the first person to run a lead magnet funnel for an accounting firm. Like that's not a new concept. What makes you different to a pop-up agency isn't you booking a conversion, isn't you doing ads to book a call. It's the quality of those ads. It's the targeting. It's the quality. It's the copywriting. It's the landing page. It's the automations. It's the brand you're building around that business, which makes you stand out. It's not, you don't have to stand out by making a completely new strategy of what the call to action of an ad is, because there's only limited ones you can do. Because really, mate, what you're saying is, right, the option is be a pop-up agency and do a direct call to action or do a lead magnet. But everyone who does the direct call to action ads for accounting firms or any other lead generation campaign also does lead magnet funnels because they're great to grow your email list. You need to have a strategy, and mate, your strategy for doing your strategy for an accounting company booking a direct call is going to be very different than if I got that campaign up, unless you're in the academy. There's so many different variables that are involved in it, which differentiates you from a pop-up agency than a really good agency. If the contract says it's 3 months, he wouldn't sign it because then he's tied down for 3 months to a startup agency. No, well, yeah, that's an objection that you have to overcome, mate. Like, if he doesn't want to do that, then he doesn't do it. So it will just be rolling month on month. You've kind of answered your own question. Ideally, you want him to sign a 3-month, which is what we all academy members do 3 months. Our agency does a minimum of 6 months now, just because we can, because we've got the brand to do it. But yeah. If a client does not respond to message, what should you do? Depends what message they're not replying to, Najib. So it could be if it's an outreach message and they don't reply, then you just follow them up, send them another message. Don't say, hi, you're ignoring my message, or a question mark. Approach it in a new way and say, right, these are some other benefits of you getting on the call with me. If they're just blanking you after you've sent a proposal, then it depends. It's all case by case. Like, there's so many different variables. You'd have to give me more information around what they're not responding to. Thanks a lot for the advice, mate. Was really confused on the strategy. Makes me more confident to finally start cold calling. Yeah, as long as you understand what you're actually going to do, because they're going to ask you that on the meeting, guys. Like, this is why it's so important to have a strategy you're confident in, because on that call, they're going to say things like, right, when we get started, what's the plan? Like, right, I pay you today, I sign the contract today, what happens next? And if you don't have an answer because you don't even have the strategy yet, you're going to be stumped, and they're going to be like, oh, maybe these aren't the right people. So yeah, it's something that you really need to get in order. Trying to see if I've missed any questions. A lot of these questions, guys, are very case by case, as in it really depends on the context around what you're doing. So if you can give any more information, that'd be great. When cold calling, should I mention my name in the script? Yes, 100%. Just say who you are so they know who they're speaking to, but don't go into a massive spiel, like ring them and say, hi, this is Harry from DCL. I'm a really successful marketing agency for the past 5 years. I offer this, this, and this. Doesn't need that. It just needs, hi, this is Harry. And then go into your script. But yeah, because no one really cares where you are. They just need to know like who you are and where you're calling from, but they don't need a whole kind of bio on the history of your business. They don't care. They just want to know why you're calling, hit a pain point, and get straight to the point. Cool. So guys, does anyone else have any final questions before we hop off? Tristan, so when you've got it's gone now. Every time I say my name, they say I don't know you and then end the call. Should I keep saying my name still? That will just be with how you're saying it, mate. Like, this is why it's so important for you to listen to lots of successful cold calls, because everything, like the stuff you're saying is, everyone who's successful at cold calls is doing it. It's just the way you're saying it. Like, I'd be really interested to see how you're handling it, what your tone is. Yeah, it's because saying your name on a cold call isn't a foreign thing. Everyone does that. A client's been ghosting me for over a month, hasn't responded to any messages or calls. He owes me money. Is there any point taking legal action? Again, that's your call. I personally wouldn't. Be interested to know how he owes you money. Is that owed you money from commissions from leads? If it is, then it depends how much he owes you. If it's thousands, if it's a few £100, this is obviously your call. I personally wouldn't, because I think it ruins your brand more. But this is why agencies get paid up front, guys. This is why we always get paid up front. We don't do any work without getting paid up front. Obviously, the performance-based fee is separate, so that's something that you have to tackle, but that's just building the correct trust with your client, spotting red flags. And it's all a learning phase, guys. Like, moving forward, you can probably look back on how you signed that client and spotted some red flags that you probably should have spotted sooner, but that's just all part of the learning process. It's going to happen. Do you think walking into local businesses is a good strategy to get first clients? I'm working with med spas, 100%, because no one wants to do that. Like, everything we say of what works and what doesn't is doing things that other people don't want to do to get the results that everyone wants to get. Hence why cold calling works, because no one wants to ring 50 businesses a day for 4 months straight. They just don't. Like, even people that do start cold calling, they'll give up after a week. Hence why they don't get the results. But if you stick at it for 4 months, it's so simple, guys. Like, getting results in social media marketing is so simple. If you cold call 50 businesses a day for 6 months straight, and you have a clear strategy, there's zero chance on planet Earth how you don't get your agency to 10K a month. Like, that's the only strategy. Have a good service, tick. Have a full pipeline of meetings, tick. Have a meeting strategy that works, ticked. It's so simple. People massively overcomplicate it with crazy outreach messages, like crazy email sequences to sign clients and running ads. It's so simple. Just ring. It takes you 2 hours a day to ring 50 businesses, book 2 to 3 meetings a day, close 20% of them, and you're at your goals, providing you understand how to do it. Hence why the academy is so important to so many people, because it gives you all the tools to do it. If you don't have those tools, you could cold call for 6 months and not get anywhere because you're doing the wrong things. Like, it's so simple to get there. You just need the correct roadmap to do it. Twinu, so he owes you money from commissions from leads. Really, mate, there's not much you can do. You can send him a message threatening legal action, but do you want to go down that road? I personally wouldn't, unless it was thousands of pounds. Yeah, it's just how you've built that relationship, unfortunately, and the type of person that they are. Do you have advice for lead gen? Because I'm currently using Lead Swift, and when I extract the leads, there is a lot of duplicates and a lot of leads barely in niche. Do you know any other softwares or tips? So you're talking about lead gen for your agency. Lead Gorilla is really good. D7 Lead Finder is okay, but we found that Lead Gorilla is really good. Everyone on SMMA says not to mention prices on the call. My agency has 0 startup fees or monthly retainers, so I think this would entice the client even more. Should I mention the price or leave it? Kind of answered your own question, mate. Like, if you don't have a price, then there's not really any downside to it. So I would mention it on a call. For those who also want that question, we don't mention price on a call. When someone mentions price on a call to us, we say, I use the driveway example. Like, if you wanted a new drive done for your house, you wouldn't, if you rang a builder, they wouldn't be able to give you a price on your driveway without knowing the dimensions, what materials they want to use. Like, that's the information you need. And that's the same with a social media marketing agency client. You need to have that call with them to figure out what exactly they need. Like, do they need Facebook ads? Do they need Google ads? Do they need, how big is their budget? Do they need a landing page? Do they need a website? There's so many things that go into it, increasing your price. However, on the call, I do tell them where my prices start from to give them an idea, because if they can't afford 200 a month and your prices start at 1,500 a month, then there's no point getting on that second call. Just tell them a range of what your prices range from, and then get them on a call to figure out the actual intricacies of what you're actually going to charge them. How much money should you be making from your SMMA to go full-time on your business? Asking for my friend who is a beginner. This is completely dependent on your life. Like, if you have zero overheads of your life, you could go full-time straight away. However, if you've got a family with 2 kids and you need to be earning $5,000 a month, which you're currently earning from your job, to pay for your mortgage and your kids, I wouldn't recommend diving into social media marketing agencies when you're like full-time, when you're earning $1,000 a month. Like, it's different for everyone. It's just what you're comfortable doing. I'd recommend, obviously, and there's so many different things to go in it. Like, do you have a safety net of like cash in the bank to survive off for 6 months before you go all in on a business that might not work? Yeah, like it's different for everyone. Completely depends on your lifestyle. Right, guys. Any final questions before I head off? Hope everyone's enjoying these live videos. I'm going to try and continue doing them every Monday, 5 p.m. To just give you as much value as possible, guys. I'll just answer the final few questions and then I'll hop off at 50 minutes. When would you suggest is a good time to learn an additional platform to provide as a service? Right away, mate. Like, once you've nailed Facebook and Instagram, which I'd recommend everyone starting first, move on to Google, move on to TikTok, move on to YouTube. Like, the more strings to your bow that you can add, the better. Like, I wouldn't wait for the perfect time. Just learn one, move on to the next. It's going to really help you. I think that is all the questions, guys. Yeah, I've not spoke too much about the Academy in this video, guys, which I'm happy about, because I spoke about them quite heavily in the last 2. But if anyone's contemplating joining the Academy, has any questions on it, it really can change your agency. Just like I said earlier, it's a very simple process. If you want to get to 10K a month, by January or by February, if you've got all the tools and then you stick to the targets with our guidance and support directly with Tom and I, it's going to really help you. And we've got a call in 10 minutes time with the Academy where everyone gets on Zoom, people share their screens, people share their ad accounts, and it's always led with Tom or I. And we'll go through your ad accounts or any problems you've got, and we'll just hold your hand until you get to your goals. So if you want to smash your goals by the end of the year, guys, I'd seriously recommend checking out the Academy. Message me if you've got any questions at all. I know there's been a few questions in the chat about it, but yeah, just let me know. But hope you all enjoyed, guys. And yeah, I'll see you next week at Monday. Before I go, yeah, send it, Adobe, send it to me on Instagram. Should I always throw my face on sales calls? 100%. Never have your camera off. People buy into people rather than like what you're saying. Erin, waiting to sell my first client. The first purchase I make of the retainer will be the Academy. Love it, mate. Be a pleasure to have you. It'd be a pleasure to have every single person in here in the Academy. And yeah, I'd look forward to seeing you guys next week. Hope you enjoy, guys. And yeah, see you soon.